handsome fellows that are tuning in for Vero Circle today. I'm so excited to be able to present to you my guest for today. For those of you that do not know who your reigning Miss Arizona is, I would like to introduce you to 19-year-old Bree Munoz, your Arizona State Miss Arizona.
Yes. Hello. My name is Briseis Munoz. I am your National American Miss Arizona teen, and I'm just so excited to be here to talk all things pageantry and what it's like as a 19-year-old who just doesn't know how to stop doing. So
I am super excited to have you here. Every little girl's dream is to be a princess. My granddaughter, 3 years old, she runs around. She's Ella one day and she's Cinderella the next. So
I did it too.
She's excited. So I've actually had the pleasure of meeting Bree about a little over a year ago. Myself and my team are actually doing a TV series, which Bree actually played one of the characters on there. So that was my first encounter with her. And you were getting ready to go off to college at that time, right?
Yeah. Oh my goodness, it's crazy how that was already a year ago.
I know. Time just flies really fast. So tell my guests what you were going to college for and where you were going.
Yeah. So I go to Westminster Choir College. I am a double major in music education and vocal performance. So I specialize in opera and classical music, but I keep my music education major in there because I just love to teach. So if I ever find myself in a position where I really do just want to teach, then I would teach choir and direct choirs at either middle school or high school. But very musically involved. And I'm from Arizona, but I go to school in New Jersey.
That's amazing. I was in choir in high school. I love music. We're involved in music all over the place. Your dad actually, the saying "Daddy's princess" is very true. Obviously, in this case, but your dad actually sent us a clip of one of your performances. So let's take a look at one of her opera performances. Run marathons and stuff as well, right?
Yeah, well, I'm training. My goal is to run a marathon by the time I'm 25. Okay. I just signed up though for my first half marathon, which is 13.1 miles.
Wow.
And that's actually New Jersey in the Princeton area, which is about like 15 minutes away from me. Okay. So we're training for that. We're prepping for that. But thus far, I've done some 5Ks. I've done a couple 10Ks. So I'm getting my practice in, but it's definitely a process for sure.
That's awesome. I don't even think I can run a mile at any given
I didn't think so either.
So, but tell me, like, where do you fit running for a pageant and with going to school and running, these things? How do you fit that in? Like, what made you decide to run for a beauty pageant?
Yeah. So I started doing pageants when I was about 12 years old. So that was my first kind of foot in the door with pageantry, and I loved it so much. And it was a lot easier then because my obligations were not as prominent as they are now. But I took a little break from pageants, maybe just about a year or two going into college, just to get myself situated in a new area. And then I got the email that they send out where it's like, hey, you should come compete at National American Miss again. You've already competed here. And I thought to myself, I was like, this is going to be my last year being eligible as a teen.
Right.
And I don't think I'm ready to be considered a miss yet. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't done my due diligence as a
Right.
teen. So I talked to my mom and I talked to my dad, and then, really I had to consult and pray with God. And I was like, okay, this is it. I'm going to go for it this year. I've never won this specific pageant or organization's pageant before. So I was like, if it's going to be this year, we're going to put everything into
Right.
it. So it would just be, thinking about how do you fit prepping in for that, because, you have to prepare, you have to practice your walking, you have to practice your interview, just all these different things to
Right.
make sure that you're ready for anything that's thrown your way. It was as simple as my friends being like, we'd watch TV and they'd be like, okay, pageant time. And then they would sit up, do 5 quick pageant questions. And that was it. Like, my friends were just my rock at school. So they really would be the ones that would, remind me to practice every now and then. But also it's learning how to just balance your life in general. So I'm a planner. I have a planner. I write down certain things. So it's
Right.
like, oh, I have a practice interview today. Let me put in at this time. I'm going to do 10 minutes of interview practice. So scheduling in that time, and if you really want it, then you'll make time for it.
Right. That's amazing. So, what was your reaction when they announced your name as the winner?
Yeah.
Like, your dad actually sent in a video of your
Yeah.
reaction, so we will get to that. But what was your initial reaction when you heard your name being called?
You'll see in the video, but you can just see like almost every sense of like emotion just kind of fall throughout my body. Um, because this is like the moment that I've been dreaming of.
Right.
Like at National American Miss, they show this wonderful video every single year where it's the suspense, and every girl's dream is to hear one specific song played while they win this title. And so I was standing up there, and you're waiting. You have like the top 20 up there, and you're waiting. You're holding hands, and then they start calling like fourth place, third place, second place. In pageantry terms, it's like runners up.
Right.
So you're like hoping not to hear your name because
the first
you're like, please don't be me, right? And then so it got to the point where I was first runner up. So it was like, okay, I'm either gonna be second or I'm not gonna have won anything.
But you knew you were up there.
Yeah. So I was like, I know I performed well. I know everything that I had prepped and practiced for came to fruition. Like, there wasn't a moment where I was like, you know what, I totally dropped the ball here.
Right.
And so
like, I nailed this.
Yes, I was like, I did my best, and if that doesn't get me anything, that's okay, because I don't feel like I messed up anywhere. So I'm waiting, and my best pageant friend, is standing next to me, and her name gets called for first runner up. I'm like, oh my goodness. And she passes by me, and I don't know if this is in the video or not, but she passes by me, gives me like a little tap on the shoulder, and then my friend next to me to my left puts her hand on my shoulder, and it's like almost like they just kind of knew that it was like my year.
Yeah.
And so I like at that moment I'm just praying. I'm like, okay, like God, just like let me be calm. And it's like that suspense. You're just waiting. You're waiting. You're waiting. And then I hear like the first portion of my name, and like I just fall. Like I'm just like, oh my goodness, like thank you. It's just like a sense of like gratitude, like just filling my body. And my friends, I have this super sweet picture that are the two girls on either side of me. Is like I'm smiling, just like so happy. Thank you, God. And then my two friends are like looking down at me, smiling too. Like you could see their joy and their excitement for me, which is exactly like what pageantry is about. Like just to see that they were almost more excited for me than they were for themselves. Like that was an unbeatable feeling.
I mean, what a way to go out in your teen years.
I know.
See, Miss Teeners.
Yeah.
What an accomplishment. That is beautiful. So, what does the younger Bree look like growing up? With your mom, your dad. How did you have your life? What was your lifestyle like? And how did that now affect you as you're getting older and then accomplishing all these goals? You know what I mean? Because that's not every young girl gets to dream of being a princess and then become one. Unfortunately, and so tell us what your lifestyle was, and what tips you can give to our young audience.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this makes me look really big. But what advice can you give to young girls? 3-year-old little girl
Yeah.
running around.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. If you want to be a princess, you absolutely can. That's one thing that I do love about this organization is you start off their youngest division is the princess division. I think it starts at 3 years old. So if you want to go and do a pageant or you want your daughter to do a pageant, National American Miss, I would search it up. They have state pageants in every single state. And especially for Arizona, their office is wonderful. Our state director for Arizona, she's fabulous. I mean, I can attest to that because I'm
We
representing
will
the
link
state.
all the information in
Yes.
this video.
Yes, we will absolutely link all the information to sign your daughter's cousins, anybody up because you absolutely can. You can get that beautiful experience. I didn't know that I would be able to until I got a letter in the mail one day,
You're like,
yeah, I was like, wait, hang on. And then my mom and I were like, we didn't even realize it was this accessible. It's so incredibly simple to get up. Some people just don't have the resources to know.
Right.
So, yes, for the younger audience, you absolutely can live out your princess dreams in life. And please do, go for it. Even if you just do it 1 year, it's so rewarding. But to answer the first part of the question, growing up, so I have two wonderful and amazing parents. But growing up, they weren't together. I don't think I ever remember a time like probably around two. I think is when they split up. But I don't remember a time where they were together. And I know a lot of people often ask me, they're like, "Oh, did that affect your childhood? Like, do you feel like not seeing your parents together really affected you?" And I was like, I think it's interesting because there's different difficulties between children who've grown up with their parents never together and then those who have their parents divorced later in life, like in their teen years,
right.
because I never had to face what that was like
Right.
of seeing them together and then seeing that whole break off. I was just kind of used to it, but
Yeah.
the thing is, I had a decent kind of blend of both worlds. Like on my mom's side, I have two younger brothers, so I know what it's like to be a sibling. I know what
Right.
it's like to be an older sibling, whereas I'm an only child on my dad's side. So I really do get the best of both worlds there. And then being an only child with my dad is I'm able to have that strong connection with him.
Right. You have a very good
I
relationship.
do. And now I have a really great relationship with my mom, just as I've grown up and
Right.
I've matured and things like that. But one great thing that I learned from having my brothers is just how to be responsible and,
Right.
seeing how different, you know, it's different for every single child. Everyone grows up differently. They have different um, places where they excel. Whereas, I have both my brothers are very athletic, but I have one brother who really excels in math, and I have, one brother who's just very excellent in sports. Whereas, I'm music,
Right.
So just seeing what we all find our nation, which is beautiful. Um, but I've learned how to be my own person. But it's also because I've had such a wonderful relationship with my family. I've had the opportunity to try everything, and I also wanted to get out of Arizona because I was like,
Right.
I felt like everything was here, but I knew there was something. I wanted to know what it was like to be by myself.
Right.
I wanted to know what it was like
Venture
to
out.
be. Yep. To
Become
be
that.
just me.
Give that extra woman. So see, you
Yeah.
don't have to have a picture perfect life. Both to be able to
Yeah.
do
Oh, yeah.
all these things in life,
Yeah.
which is good. And I think a lot of young teens, even young kids, most parents, it seems like nowadays they're not in the same household.
Mhm.
You have a lot of kids that I would say suffer from families that are separated. Because that's what they are. Divorce is hard, or not being together. I know my parents divorced when I was in the 5th grade. It took it really hard,
Right.
but obviously, like me, I can see in you that you didn't let that justify who you are.
Yeah.
It didn't matter that you come from basically a broken home because your
Yeah.
parents weren't together.
Yeah.
And you still made something for yourself. So anybody can do it. Don't ever let your past life determine where you can go in your future, for sure, because
Absolutely.
you can be anything that you
Yeah.
want.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. So we got a couple pictures we're gonna insert here on your pageant that
Yeah.
your dad sent in. And then I do like to give a shout out to my guys, Josh and Daniel Flores, and Flores Brother Security. I will link down their information on their Instagram. Go buy their merch. I have their shirt on today. Most humblest guys that I've met. They're amazing. They're amazing guys. Their wife, shout out to you, Jenny, as well. I hope you guys do amazing things with your brand as well. and we will be back in just a few minutes. Welcome back, guys, to Vero Circle with my guest, Brie Munoz. I'm sorry, Brie Munoz, Miss Arizona Teen. So, okay, we were talking previously in the first segment about all your accomplishments with Miss Teen Arizona
Yeah.
International and stuff. Is there any other pageants that you are going to be attending here in the upcoming months or maybe later in the year?
Yeah. So when you win with National American Miss and with a lot of pageant organizations, when you win your state, you go on to the national competition.
Nice.
So Thanksgiving week, I'm competing for the National American Miss Teen title, representing Arizona.
That's right,
So-
Arizona.
Yes. So Arizona's bringing the heat this year.
That's
We
right.
have a beautiful wardrobe. I'm so excited. I'm obviously keeping it all under wraps, and it's so hard because I just want to show everybody.
Yeah, all your outfits.
Yes, I'm like, oh my goodness, you guys, it's gonna be so good. But you know, Arizona's gonna really bring it this year. Even all of my sister queens, my younger sister queens, my older sister queens, we are all just gonna bring so much authenticity to nationals, and we're all working very hard. You know, just practicing every single day and just putting in the work that it takes to just be prepared at the national level, because now, you know, we're state title holders,
Right.
but we want to represent ourselves as a national title
Right.
holder. We want to have the judges see us as already deserving of that national
Right.
title, right? So yeah, so nationals is next, and then and then I come back to Arizona after school. So I'll be back pretty much every summer, and the pageant happens in July usually.
Okay.
So I will be back to crown the next teen title holder and to just be reigning royalty. So I'll get some great opportunities with
That's
that.
amazing. Now, how many ladies from Arizona are actually going to compete into the national? Is there one for each age group, or so everyone
Yes.
from Arizona from 3 all the way up?
Yeah, so we have one for age groups. So we have our princess division. So there's like chunked into age groups. So you have your princess, your junior preteen, your preteen, your junior teen, teen, miss, and our elite, which is our new division, which is, I want to say 20, oh goodness, I want to say maybe 29 to 39,
Okay.
something like along
So
those
something
lines.
for older women.
Yeah,
That sounds
yeah,
amazing.
because it's not too late to go
Yeah.
out into, especially there's so many women who might have had children early on, or who might have just got married early on in life, and they're like, yeah, like I don't know, like I don't have time to do a pageant now. Like our National American Miss Utah elite, she has beautiful girls, and you know, her daughter was doing pageants
Oh, nice.
before her, and she's like, you know what, there's this new division, why don't I go for it? And she
Oh,
did, and she won.
Oh my
You
gosh,
know,
that's amazing.
so she's really like showcasing that it's not too late
right.
to go out and to do pageants for the first time, that you don't have to do it when you're at your prime time
Right.
of 20 something years old. No, you can absolutely do it later on. And again, I just love this organization so much because they give opportunities for so many people.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, because in my younger days, which I'm still pretty young, but we actually, my sister, myself, even my cousins, we all entered, you know, the little city beauty pageants that we had there. But if I recall correctly, you couldn't have kids when you entered to be at one point. So this being an older division for women that have already had kids, and that's not like a disqualification. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a really big thing, especially a few years ago, where there was a lot of arguments about if that was correct or not, like if pageantry should be that way, because it's almost like creating a stereotype.
Right.
And so National American Miss adding that extra age division, and for our Miss division, you're allowed to be married. I'm unsure if you're allowed to have kids or not, but a lot of organizations don't care. So like the Miss USA organization, and I want to say there's another one as well. They completely banned those rules where it's like you can be any age to compete. You can be married, you can have had kids.
That's
it can be
amazing.
anything.
That really is.
Yeah, so there are so many opportunities now for women who really were interested, but their life just had a different path for them. God had something different for them at that time, and it's not too late now.
Yeah, that is 100% true. You can have a life outside and still become somebody that you want to be. You know what I mean? That there shouldn't be. You shouldn't stop yourself because you don't think you can.
Yeah.
So shout out to them. That's amazing.
Yeah, times are changing.
Yeah,
that's great.
For sure. So now, you're getting ready to go back to school, right?
Yeah.
So what does the opera scene for your schooling? Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Like, are you doing any theatrical stuff? Are you looking to go to Broadway? Like, what's Briseis in the next 5 years?
So not Broadway, sadly, but Broadway's musical theater. So I for a very long time thought I was going to go that musical theater route until I did watch my first opera, and I was like, wow, this is everything that I've been looking for, and it's just the type of voice and music that I want to perform. It's very dramatic and it's extra. So we do operas in German, Italian, Spanish. This coming up semester, we're actually doing a Spanish opera.
Nice.
So there's so much of a different kind of like training that goes into doing opera. But when I go back, it's just your classes. Like you're in your language classes, you're in your voice lessons, you're practicing just throughout your day. But in 5 years, I would have been graduated. So my thing is I'm just so very open to like everything that can happen, every possibility. So for one example, if I were to graduate, and I really do love doing opera still because I'm doing my first opera this coming semester, and then I'll be doing some these next few semesters. And if I really love it, then I foresee myself going to graduate school for voice performance just to get more training and to work under a new voice teacher and to just get more opportunity.
Right.
And then after that, who knows? I may get cast at an opera house or travel the world for opera. You never know.
Which would be amazing.
That'd be so cool. That'd be so cool. But if I'm really loving teaching and I feel like that's truly my calling, then I might even move back home and just immediately start teaching and using the training that I've gotten from voice performance and put that into my choirs. Like my voice teacher throughout high school, her choirs were so amazing because she taught each class like it was a voice lesson.
Right.
That it didn't have to be almost sort of formulated. That instead she taught the class as it was a voice lesson, teaching them vocal health, but also it had middle school students sounding like adults.
Yeah.
Just
a very I think like a sophisticated.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not your average hey, let's sing this song, and you know what I mean. It's very sophisticated music. You know what I mean? And you have to be really talented to do that. So that's huge in itself. You know what I mean? So let's say you do come back to Arizona, like, would you want to open your own studio? You know what I mean? Like those type of things. Like, is that something you can see yourself doing?
Yeah. So right now I do teach voice lessons in New Jersey. So I work with acoustic music studios, myself and a few of my friends as well. And so we teach voice lessons for just younger kids. So I have students from the age of 5 to 13. So, I'm really like implementing these really important vocal health techniques just early on that I wish I had, but I didn't start taking voice lessons until high school. But yeah, I feel like coming back home, I would love to have my own voice studio. Even if
you
it's
hear that, Dad? She needs her own voice studio.
Like I would love to teach students out of my own home. It also just depends on like where life takes me, and where God calls me, because I foresee myself, who knows? I might, really just love teaching with the choir. And when you're a school teacher and you are teaching a choir, that is such a time commitment that it's difficult to have voice students outside of that, because you're working yourself hard for your students every single day. So we shall see. But if I did come home, I'd either be fully deep into teaching a choir or teaching my personal students.
Nice. Well, that's amazing. I am so excited that you came here, gave all of our audience some amazing perspectives. Um, one last thing before we go, what would you tell your younger self, or for all these young girls out there? What advice, what tip can you give them for just life in general?
Okay. There's so many things, but what's really hitting me right now is comparison is the thief of joy.
I love
It
that.
really, really is. And it's really easy to just get in that comparison state. And all my friends, whenever I get into a place where I feel like that imposter syndrome is really taking over when I'm at school, they're like, Brie, you were here on a full tuition scholarship. Like, you are one of two people in our class that has that. And you think that you're not good enough to be here, you know?
That's amazing.
And it's hard because you see the talent, you see all the hard work that people are doing, but at the end of the day, it's about really knowing yourself and finding a sense of confidence in yourself. And yes, comparison is going to happen, like,
Right.
that's just going to be natural, but it's finding good people, good outlets. My One of my biggest greatest pieces of advice that I got from actually a pastor, he had said, um, or he was just speaking in a sermon about it. He was like, instead of asking your friend, because your friends are just going to give you advice, they're going to give you advice,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Instead of asking your friends for advice, ask your friends for prayer.
Right.
Because sometimes what you struggle with isn't what they struggle with, so they can't truly give you advice on
Right.
something. And that's why we get so frustrated sometimes with our friends because, like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
So
You don't understand.
right, exactly. So instead of asking for advice on how to do something, just ask them to pray for you because that's when you really find a sense of peace.
100%.
Yeah. So I would say comparison is going to be hard. Um, but remembering that it takes away your joy. That comparing yourself isn't going to make anything better.
That is a beautiful, beautiful phrase. Thank you guys for tuning in. Once again, I want to thank my guys, Daniel and Josh with the Flores Brothers Security. Make sure you follow the link. Also, we're gonna put Bree's link in here. And for you guys at home, just remember that you can be anything you want to. Have faith, which is most important. Believe in yourself and know that you can be anything that you want. Just keep your mind focused and you'll get there. Until next time, I look forward to seeing you. Thank you for joining me today.